If you've made it to this video, it certainly wasn't an accident. The universe sent you here because you're meant to receive this message.
What's up guys, welcome to my channel. If you are here on this video, just like the intro said, it is not by chance. You are here because the universe has basically guided you towards this message today. So today I'm going to pull a card from my very own Oracle deck, which is the An Unfoldment of Consciousness by Maha Artin. I didn't produce it just by myself. I wrote the guidebook, so the artwork was done by my creative partner. But still, it is my very own Oracle deck, and today I'm basically going to pull a single card from it. I'm going to shuffle the deck, pull a single card, and I'm going to deliver the message. I will first read from the guidebook what that message is, and then I will go on to explain it in greater detail and just give you a little bit more, seeing as I am the one that wrote the book and I did have to shorten the guidance to fit it in. So anyway, this is the deck. I'm going to give it a shuffle. If you're here, then you know you're here for a reason. And one piece of advice is to sit with this card for at least 3 to 4 weeks. If you have the Unfoldment of Consciousness Oracle deck, I do advise sitting with each card for a period of time and studying it and getting to know it and deciding whether you agree with the concepts or not, exploring other people's thoughts around the same subject, and then developing your own. Yes, this deck is all about expansion and expanding yourself. So do you know what? Let's pull a card today and basically see what message the universe has for you. This is a really cool card. Okay, today we have Tariqat. I don't know how to say it. It's a Sufi word. My creative partner designed the card, and you know she did design it to fit the meaning of the card, or the meaning of the word Tariqat, which I believe means a spiritual path. So that's the card. It's actually one of my favorite cards of the deck, so it's pretty cool. But anyway, let's read the guidance. So number 11, 13, 11. And I will elaborate if I feel like I need to as I go. Okay. Some of us make the conscious choice to embark on a journey that ends in peace, purpose, and freedom, or power, expertise, and wealth. The lines in the beginning are blurred. Though the decision to walk the path may have come from spirit, it is ego at this point that drives our vehicle. A picture of a beautiful track external to us winds through the mountains to a heaven resting beyond an enormous pair of gates. If we contain enough knowledge, we will make it there. Off we go, bag packed, ready to take on the world. Now that's the first paragraph, basically. And what that sort of means is that this card is card number 11, and it's talking about the spiritual path. And the reason that it's card number 11 is because there is the theory that, you know, when you start seeing the number 11 or 1111, the angel number, it means the gates are opened, and it most certainly meant that in my life, at least. So I very much remember the day that I felt the spiritual gates, do you know what I mean, almost unlock, and I happened to be having a conversation about 11. I found out that my life path number was 11, and I just found out so much on that day, and that was it. Boom. Like, I just felt, it was a long time ago, but I really felt like that was the opening for me. So anyway, that's why it's number 11. And basically this is what I'm talking about. Some of us make the conscious choice to embark on a journey that ends in peace, purpose, and freedom, and that is why we really embark on a spiritual journey, essentially, to kind of find peace, purpose, and freedom. I guess that's at least our initial sort of driving force, and that comes from spirit. Do you know what I mean? That's literally our spirit being like, yes, let's walk the spiritual path, right? We get that flash of insight from spirit. But what typically happens on that path, and you know, I would say what typically happens on that path, and what definitely happened for me as well, is that those ideas, peace, purpose, and freedom, slowly shift, and they become expertise, wealth, And what was the other thing? Power. Do you know what I mean? We want to be powerful, we want to be wealthy, and we want to have expertise. And that to us starts to take over, at least I believe, starts to take over the idea of peace, purpose, and freedom. Because, okay, of course, like sometimes we think freedom is financial, and sometimes we think purpose means we have our place of power in our career, and essentially, like, what I'm trying to say is that sometimes the lines get blurred on the spiritual path, or when you're walking it, and you start thinking that, you know, material things are in alignment with your spiritual goals, and or sometimes material goals take over your spiritual goals. And so this is really like almost saying, like, you know, that when you're on the spiritual path, be aware of when it's ego and when it's spirit, because you get the flash of insight from spirit, but we haven't developed enough yet. And so we do have to first develop the ego in the journey. We do have to develop the ego. And so we do strive for those things: wealth, power, fame, and whatever else it is. We do strive for those things with this kind of spiritual energy behind it, or at least we project this spiritual energy in order to get it. You know, the use of manifestation and stuff like that. We want the material as opposed to the spiritual knowledge and the struggle of not having, you know, or feeling like you don't have enough, and actually learning from that. So this card is basically saying, be aware initially of when the spirit might be the thing that pushes you onto the spiritual path, but soon enough the ego does take over and kind of try and guide you the rest of the way. So yeah, we're saying if we can attain enough knowledge, we will make it there. Off we go, bag packed, ready to take on the world. Very much like the Fool in the tarot. Do you know what I mean? We've got this idea, it's a spark, and we're ready to go, and we have no idea about what's about to come at us. You know, the challenges as well, the denial of our dreams. Okay. We may be surprised to find that the beautifully formed pathway we saw disappears. Beasts approach from the gutters, and many times we end up in deep, dark holes. Still, we work relentlessly to forge a concrete path to take us to the gates, only to have it simultaneously crumble beneath our knees. So as we embark on that spiritual journey, we're like, yes, I know what it is that I want to do. I've seen the light, and I'm going to go and get that. And then what happens is, you know, like, we see the gates in the distance. We know we've just got to make it there. There's a beautiful path. We've got on our robes. We've got on our sandals. We've got a few crystals in our pocket, a couple oracle decks in our backpack. We are ready to go. We are spiritual, and that is it. Do you know what I mean? That's how we feel. But then, before you know it, like, that path disappears, and your robes are torn and dirty, and you can't find your oracle deck, and your crystals don't seem to be working. And do you know what I mean? You don't even know where the gates are anymore. They've disappeared, because now that flash of insight is gone, and you're here with the ego, which is, you know, that's your demon almost. Or it doesn't need to be a demon as such, because the ego becomes your friend. But, you know, that is the thing that you've got to battle. And, you know, you get all these challenges, and, you know, you might be rejected here, and you were so sure that you were going to manifest that. And, you know, you thought you were going to get this, and now you've got this injury, and now all of these things have blown up in our face and disrupted our beautiful pathway that we have seen. And, you know, that's a challenge, and we end up in deep, dark holes, and we fight relentlessly to try and make it to the gates. We're trying to build our path, but simultaneously it crumbles beneath our knees, and it seems like we're getting absolutely nowhere. And there are like flashes of insight, and we feel like we're moving, but if it, like, you know, ultimately sometimes we just feel like we're getting nowhere. Do you know what I mean? We had this beautiful vision, and now it doesn't seem to be becoming the painting that we once saw. Do you know what I mean? We thought we were Monet. We had this painting, beautiful, and we're finding out now that we're literally in preschool, and, you know, we're painting a picture on a canvas, and it looks like a messy painting. So that's what happens. We fight and we fight and we fight and we fight, and we try and build this path, and we try and build this painting. We try and find the gates, and it's difficult. It's really bloody difficult. Do you know what I mean? The spiritual path that was meant to be so beautiful, that sandy track, the big, beautiful, shining gates to peace, purpose, and freedom, or money, power, and whatever, is just seems to be crumbling beneath us. We just don't know where we are. Eventually, we surrender, finding peace as we lay comfortably in a trench. Suddenly, a spirit version of ourselves appears and pulls our beaten body from the hole. It's no longer dark. We look back and see a perfectly carved path. So as you surrender, this is what this card is about. On the path, as you finally surrender to your desires and your wants and your needs and your ego, that is when that spirit version of you, you're laying there in that trench and you're no longer fighting. Why am I doing all of this? Why am I doing all of this? You essentially think. You lay in that trench, and then your spirit version of yourself stands above the hole, and he pulls you out, your beaten and bruised body, from all that fighting you've been doing on this spiritual path to reach enlightenment, to reach wealth, to reach whatever that vision was that you saw. He pulls you out, and you look back at that path that was dark, and you go, oh my gosh, look at that beautifully carved, winding path that I just built. Do you know what I mean? And this is after you surrender. You look back and you see that, and you're just like, wow, that's beautiful. I didn't know that I was crafting that in all those tough times. I was crafting that beauty, and you see it, and it's absolutely amazing. You stand, you've pulled your body out of the hole. It's no longer dark. You look back and you see a beautifully carved path. The same track that we once visioned again lies ahead of us. We are right back at the start, only this time with the spirit to guide us. So now you look forwards again, and you can see those beautiful gates, and you can see the beautiful pathway. And this time it isn't just you. This time that spirit version of you is standing next to you, sort of smiling, like, yeah, we can go walk that path. We are right back at the start, only this time with the spirit to guide us. As we hobble alongside our spirit guide towards the gates, the same beasts bark from the sidewalk, but this time we do not fight. They no longer evoke a fearful response. Okay, and so what happened in here is now you're walking back towards those gates, right? Along this path, you're beaten and bruised. The ego is beaten and bruised. He's taken all the hits. He's surrendered, and now the spirit is lighting up the way. And the ego and the spirit are walking hand in hand along the path towards the gates. And what lies beyond those gates, you don't yet know. But what you're finding is that the same things that hurt you before, the want for power, the want for money, the want for fame, the want for success, the desire for a following, whatever it is that you want, the desire for love, the desire for a partner, the desire for these things, when you're sitting there thinking, I'm spiritual, I'm a good person, why is it that the universe seems to be giving me all this bullshit? Do you know what I mean? And you're struggling to deal with it. And this time, you might get little bits of those same situations occurring or trying to occur. But this time, you're walking with your spirit guide, and the ego just doesn't feel the same. You look at them and you're like, oh, wow, yeah. And you keep walking. And you don't need to fight. You're not a warrior that's here to slay. You're just walking onto the gates. Be they no longer evoke a fearful response. You're not afraid of having no money in the bank. You're not afraid of being alone. You're not afraid of any of these things that you've encountered on the path before. You've actually learned from them, and you've learned that you are okay. And that's basically what that part is saying. So the card ultimately says, did you embark on a journey with the expectation that it would be full of joy? Have you surprisingly found yourself in a deep, dark hole? Tarakat says this is an essential part of the journey. There is much to learn in the pits. When the ego has truly been surrendered, you will find yourself again the fool, ready for the next chapter. And so basically what it is saying is that, the spiritual path, it's not like it always looks in pictures. We live in a life that we see things in videos, we see things in pictures, and they look beautiful. Do you know what I mean? Crystals and cards and Buddha statues, and all these things that look spiritual. But spirituality is not about a look, and sometimes it's not even about getting everything that you want. Sometimes you learn to be the most spiritual person in actual denial of your wants, because your wants and desires, because once you can release those, I think that's when you truly become in touch with the spirit. And because wants and desires are almost an extension of ego, or they're part of the ego, wants and desires. So that doesn't mean you can't experience, do you know what I mean? That doesn't mean that being spiritual, you can't experience great wealth, but the desire for that, I would say, typically comes from ego. And so the spiritual path, yes, it may look beautiful. You may see somebody traveling it, and that may inspire you to travel it. Something may occur in your life that sends you onto the spiritual path. And honestly, yeah, you feel like it's going to be like heaven, but you just know that if you are basically on that path and you're walking it and you feel actually like you're in hell, that's great. and just keep working through it. Do you know what I mean? Work to surrender the ego, work through the hard times, because at the end of this, at the end of that, when that spirit version of yourself comes and pulls you out of the pits, you know, you are going to feel so much gratitude on a daily basis. You will truly know what gratitude is from the point of like, it's no longer ritual to practice gratitude. You don't have to practice it. You'll find yourself just speaking it. You know, you'll just be in the shower just like, I'm so grateful for, I don't even know what, I'm just grateful. You know, I'm grateful for the universe because you were here inside me. And yeah, essentially that is what that card is about. So yeah, if the message to you is, if you thought the spiritual path was going to be filled with joy and you're finding that you're challenged repeatedly over and over and over again, stick with it. Keep working, keep reflecting, keep analysing, keep seeing what it's going to teach you, because, you know, this is the spiritual path. It's dark, it's crumbling beneath you as you build. It's not easy to walk. It's not as beautiful as robes and crystals and oracle decks and Instagram and all of those things make it look. It is not as easy as that. And if it was, do you know what? I mean, wouldn't we all just be bloody, like literal Buddhas, like, so yeah, anyway, that was Tarot Card. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If you were here, then I'm guessing the universe guided you here. If you like the video, subscribe to my channel, because I will be pulling many cards from my deck as well as my tarot deck. I have an Egyptian tarot deck, so I will be pulling cards from that. If you're interested in this oracle deck, please check out the description below, because I will place a link to the website so that you can order it, and I will also put the Instagram page on there and my personal Instagram page. So yeah, but an unfoldment of consciousness. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope it benefited you in some way, shape or form. Sit with this card and, you know, have a little read. I will also put the link to the full reading, because the guidebook is shortened, to the full reading, which is on our website. I will put the link in the description below if you want to reread what I have written, basically. You know, so yeah. If you enjoyed the video, thank you for watching. I don't know, that didn't make sense. If you enjoyed the video, why not subscribe to my channel? Thank you for watching if you made it this far, and I will see you in another video, hopefully, if the universe directs you there. So yeah.